Okay, late for the show, but ready to go. What we have today is a Tamashii roundup. That's pretty rare. Usually it's like whatever that comes out, I give my little theories on what this release could possibly signify, but it's been a minute and a decent amount of news has come out. I'm not gonna say a lot of news in terms of official, but we're gonna kick it off with Bardock. We're gonna go through the pictures real quick. Wait, before we even do that, right? The pre-order's already up and the pre-orders close for this on March 15th of next month. Basically at midnight Eastern Standard Time. But we're gonna continue to go through this, and pardon me if my stomach rumbles or grumbles. I'm a little gassy, and the way I have the mic set up, it's like a magnet that is on the back of the mic, and then I put the other magnet on the inside of my shirt, and it's directly on my stomach. So if it grumbles, that's why. Either way, going through these pictures, I wanted to get really to this picture right here, so we could see the accessories. And I could complain till the cows come home about the price point, right? But this price point is kind of crazy, specifically because it comes with what damn near, I would say, either roughly the same amount or a little bit less than a general release such as the Games Begin Goku, and even some of the the new God form releases that's going to come out later this year. Like, I don't know what's going on here with the $75 price point. Actually, I do know what's going on. They seem to price things based off of hype, but even that doesn't really fully stick, because something like King Goma was like $70, $75, basically the same price as this. So I'm not gonna, beat that dead horse, because if you've been on this channel long enough, I've complained about the prices. It is what it is. You're either gonna get it or you're not at this point, which it sucks that even has to come to that point. Why can't you just price something reasonably? But also, it's a luxury product. It gets real strange that things that people, or rather companies, could get away with at a certain point, because it's not something you technically need. But now that doesn't give the green light for a level of, I'm trying to think of not such a harsh word to use, because I was gonna say abuse, but I feel like that's a real strong word. Either way, because you have like the freedom to choose whether you're not. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. I think overall this is a great release. Base hair is pretty much immaculate. Not even pretty much, it is immaculate. Fantastic. I think it is on par with the DKO head sculpts from third party. If you're not familiar with third party, basically companies that don't have the official license to produce, stuff for these S.H.Figuarts figures, but a lot of companies do. This windswept hair is probably the best windswept hair, period, between third party and official. Seriously. All that being said, we're gonna move forward. Like, there's a lot of retooling here and everything, but if you're gonna be charging this much, at least give us brand new, sculpted from the ground up. Of course, it's a lot of course, the broken arm and all that. Like I said, a lot of retooling, but no retooling. Just resculpt the whole thing if you're gonna be charging like this. Either way, let's move forward to the next thing. Now we're gonna go back real quick. So now we're dealing with Dedoria and Zarbon. This is, I think, actually fairly priced. I don't remember the original prices for each of these, but I think this is nicely priced. $165. These figures were about $80 each or something to that effect. Pretty fairly priced. And also, these figures were in desperate need of a re-release. I know we're sick of the Freezer era stuff, but this is a nice little 2-pack. You don't gotta track down however much they cost on the secondary market. I know Zarbon definitely probably cost I said definitely probably. But my point is, it costs a lot on the secondary market. And here's your accessories. You get, the 3 extra heads for Dedoria in addition to the one it comes with. And then the 3 extra set of hands in addition. Wait. Okay, not one of the sets of hands is 2 different hands. But the other 2 are the same hands, just for the left and the right. Mouth blast, and then of course the stand that comes with it. The pre-orders for this is already up. They are scheduled to ship in, what did it say? Scheduled to ship in September. And also for Bardock, I realized I didn't say when it was scheduled to ship for Bardock, but it's scheduled to ship in August. Maybe for that part of the video, I'll just have it pop up on the screen. But either way, you get the Scouter as well for Dedoria. Zarbon, 4 faceplates all together. You get, what is this front headpiece? And then of course you get the braid that I'm assuming is supposed to go over his shoulder. So you can pose him for more pretty boy antics. In terms of the extra hands, you get 2 extra hands, 2 extra sets of hands, and then 1 other hand that's just like standalone. You get the cross arms for Zarbon, and then of course you get the Bardock face for when he's seeing into the future and seeing his baby boy fight against Freezer. But all that being said, overall I think this is a solid re-release for sure. On to the next thing. The Genki Matsuri event Goku. This is not even an update or some type of news right here. This is just more like not really an obligation. I'm gonna just tell you what I feel. Do not pay this price for this Goku. Now I understand there's 2 sides to this story. You got these people that we call scalpers. Has a scalper ever acknowledged themselves to be a scalper, or is it one of those things where we all know that they're a scalper, but they never want to call themselves what they are because they know that it's a bad thing to be that, or a shameful thing to be that. Either way, that's off topic. Do not pay this amount of money for this Goku. I know as collectors, and once again my stomach feel like it's about to rumble, so bear with that. Paying this amount of money for Goku, $400, $300, like, this is crazy, especially for a figure that I guess whenever it finds its way over to here in the States, and I guess it has already found its way in the States. So that's how we have so many I was about to say scalpers, and that's by way of the pop-up event that's going on. I think it started with Chicago. I think there's one coming to Jersey, and then there's another city. But it's very short. It's not like the world tour event that happened, 2 or 3 years ago, where there was more stops. But even I don't know what to say. However much money that they're paying at that store, which is probably let's say, give or take 75. We'll say this is a kind of wild range, but $75 to $90 they probably paying for this Goku. Do not drop $400. Now, if you got it like that, I guess. But even still, I recommend if you can get it cheaper, get it for cheaper. But that's it all night. You spend your money how you want to. We gotta talk about my good man Goku with the bonnet. Yo, if you've been on this page and you heard me talking about third party, y'all know that Demoniacal Fit definitely showed off a prototype for Goku with the bonnet a minute ago. It was like either at the top of last year or the year before. Maybe it might have been 2023 for as far as I remember. It might have actually been like 2023. Either way, the point being is this, right? We're getting this as an official release. Now, there's a whole lot to even say with this particular release. I want to go through. Pre-orders open. Let's start here, right? Pre-orders open for this fabulous history book and posable figure pair at a Dragon Ball S.H.Figuarts collection Son Goku Onwards to Adventure. That sounds like a Demoniacal Fit title if I ever heard one. Very interested. But this, another interesting tidbit right here, it's listed under books. It's not listed under figures. Like on this website, the official Dragon Ball website, they have Super Android 13, which we're going to get to later in the video, right? We're going to discuss that and talk about some of the things with that figure. That's listed under figure, but right here it says books. So I wonder if you're going to be able to get this in bookstores. Interesting. And also, all right, we're going to get into the pre-order aspect of this thing, but we're going to read through the article. Okay, I already read through the article, but it's some stuff that I want to point out. Okay, S.H.Figuarts. All right, let's see. Pre-orders open now. Amazing. This S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball series. The S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball series has reached a stunning 200 figures. Now, a deluxe set containing a posable figure based on one of Toriyama's illustrations in a history book detailing the evolution of the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball series is here. Now, we did get a book like that with the Toyotaro Ultra Instinct Goku. I did a review for that. Check it out after this video. And also, maybe I gotta do like a video just flipping through that book. Either way, okay, let's read this. Read to the end for more details, including where you can pre-order this fabulous set. This book contains Plus, it's the same size as a manga volume from Jump Comics, so it'll fit properly on your shelf right beside your copies of the Dragon Ball manga. That's not all. The book includes interviews and columns from the creators behind the production of this amazing figure. This prototype version of Son Goku Onward's adventure has been crafted by the same elite team of sculptors behind a multitude of Dragon Ball figures. Yeah, now I'm about to call y'all out. Which ones y'all sculpted? We're gonna see how elite y'all are. But you know, at least that's the immature side of my brain. The mature side of my brain is saying, like, based off of what we see in these pictures, they truly do live up to the name of elite. This figure recreates one of Toriyama's illustrations with Goku with a completely brand new sculpting. This rare version of Goku was drawn especially for the slogan Grand Prix held in the weekly Shonen Jump 1989 number 23 issue, and is now makes his debut as a posable figure. Unbelievable. I wonder if we're going to get the rest of the figures in this picture. Well, I guess we probably would, depending on how well this particular release goes. But as far as this release, a fantastic job done in terms of aesthetic, based on what we're seeing. Of course, ultimately, as I always say, we won't know until the figure's in hand. The state-of-the-art techniques were utilized in the chest. Alright, that's talking about the articulation, which allows for even cooler poses such as the dynamic Kamehameha. We're not about to read all that. I know if we said we're going to read through it, nah, because it's just talking about the articulation. We don't need to hear about that. But these pictures, really dope. Once again, talking about the parts, we could see the parts for ourselves, because I'm sure there's here we go, picture at the end. Okay, windswept kind of skirt piece, or a skirt piece that's going to allow for more of that dynamic movement. Of course, same thing with the scarf, or I should say the sweater tied around his neck. You get a power pole that's straight, and then a power pole that's bent to, you know, give the illusion of him swinging it. You get your, of course, assortment of hands. All together, how many you get? You get the ones that's already on the arm. All together, you're getting 5 sets of hands. Okay, 3 extra faceplates in addition to the one already on him. And what is this? This towel or tie thing? Oh, that's the belt tie. Okay, I couldn't really tell at first, but okay, let's read this. Products, content, specification, and release dates are all subject to change. The release may be canceled or postponed. There may be cases in which the product is out of stock after release. This figure is for ages 15 and up. Yada yada yada. Okay, in the future, this product may be sold via retail methods both domestically and abroad, and such as the conditions for sale may be subject to change. So we're gonna keep on scrolling. Did y'all notice anything? This didn't give us a goddamn thing talking about where to pre-order this thing. Now, from what I've heard, like, there's a couple of stores that do have this up for pre-order, like what is it, Toku Collectibles or something like that. They have it. My good man Cyrus, I believe, said he ordered it by way of Amazon Japan. If I'm not, he can, when he sees this video, he could correct me. But I believe he ordered it from there. Other than that, I don't know where the hell to get this thing. Now, of course, I named 2 places, but you know, you want to get this for the most reasonable price possible. And with that, I haven't even seen the price for this. I even went on the Tamashi website. I did not see this figure on the website, unless I'm blind as a bat. And, you know, I end up looking stupid. And I don't mind looking stupid, as long as I get the information I'm supposed to get. But I didn't see that. Like, they made this. Why is it so vague where you're supposed to get this? Either way. Especially for, like, a special release like this. Now, I think for most people it'll be, I would say this is, once again, for the hardcore collector. A casual Dragon Ball collector is not going to really, this will be an easy pass, right? The only other person that's going to get it, of course, as we just talked about it with the Genki Dama Goku with the special colors on Namek. It's going to be, you know, subject to getting scalped, in a sense that you're going to have to pay an arm and a leg, or people are going to want you to pay that. But yeah, this Goku, really dope. Definitely one of those things that if you keep it in box, I could get it, you know. Even though, you know, I personally get the figure to pose it around to take pictures and whatnot. I could understand if you want to keep this in the box. Definitely one of those type of collectibles. But let's move forward, and let me add one more thing. I think this particular release, more so than ever, is really gonna open up the door for alternative outfits, especially particularly for Goku, because with Goku, something that's going to there's only so many of those versions, so many versions of an orange gi Goku we could get. So you're going to really see Tamashii start to branch off with the alternative outfits, and you know, we might start getting stuff from Toriyama's volume covers. So I would say, gentlemen and ladies, definitely start looking at your favorite volume cover and wondering if they're going to make a figure for that. I know they had driver's clothes Goku and Piccolo at one point on their mind on one of the surveys, so we'll see how that comes out. I doubt it'll be like a special kind of niche release like this. I think because the driving school episodes actually seem to play a very fond memory in people's hearts. So I can see that just being like a premium Bandai or something like that. But either way, I'm hoping if they do another release like this, Goku with the dinosaur. That's what I'm hoping for. But let's move forward. Okay, so this release right here, Super Android 13 in the books. We knew this was coming for a while, just based off of how the figure was, how some of the Super Saiyan figures in the past were posed, especially when they put up the promo images for the new Super Saiyan Vegeta that's coming out, and they had Goku, Vegeta, Trunks all posed together. It was definitely hitting at a Super Android 13 reveal, and I think this looks great. From the promo shots, the only thing I wish that it has some more of is more shading on the skin, like especially the blue on the skin and the hair. I wish it had more of that, but I think this looks great. It looks exactly how it's supposed to look. I don't know about those shoulder parts. I don't know why they made the metallic part on his shoulder like an articulated region. Like, you didn't have to do that. You could have just did the same thing that you did with 100% Frieza. He has huge shoulders too. You didn't have to make that like a separate cap. At least I don't think. I'm sure there's a way they could have engineered it where it could have just been a sculpt. They didn't have to be this thing that looks like it's articulated. Either way, besides that, I like this figure a lot. Let's get to the information, right? Because I could, continue to yap on and on. Pre-orders are already open. Scheduled shipping is in October. Whoa, 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 whoa. I thought the scheduled shipping was in November. Does that mean that November and December are still technically open for premium Bandai slots? And we're going to get to that in the last part of this video. But let's get to the accessories. This is about what I expected for this release. Whenever it's a large character like this, if you peep, the large characters rarely come with much. But there's two things that are super annoying about this release. First of all, let's talk about the price point. The price point is actually pretty fair. I thought this was going to be like $120. Giblet is more expensive than this figure. You see what I mean by prices being all over the place? Goma was what, 70, 75. This is 90, and now this is cheaper than Giblet. Come on, cousin. You get the 3 sets of hands, you get the extra faces, and then you get an extra Goku face. Let's see if are they showing the extra Goku face here? Is that supposed to be the extra Goku face? Pointless. Absolutely pointless. If there was any extra Goku face to include with this particular release, it would have been when he absorbed the Spirit Bomb and he had the meanest grit and teeth face ever seen in Dragon Ball. When he absorbed the Spirit Bomb and he punched him and destroyed him. I don't know, huge missed opportunity, but maybe it's not, because what I could probably see happening is the Goku at the end of the Super Android 13 movie, when he absorbed the Spirit Bomb, that could be a premium Bandai release on its own. It'll probably have a brand new upper torso, because the legendary Super Saiyan upper torso will be too brolic. They're gonna slim down the muscles some. Of course, brand new Super Saiyan hair sculpt if they want to, which they've been pretty good about always changing the Super Saiyan hair sculpt, so I can see it for sure. Yeah, and then the other part that annoys me about this particular release. Where's the SS Deadly Bomber? But of course, once again, why give it with this figure when you could release a regular Android 13 and have him come with the SS Deadly Bomber. They even got him in the pose to hold the blast. That's how he charges up the blast in the show. Yo, Tamashii is funny. Either way, I think this is a great release. Definitely something completely different than when we usually get. It's a villain character as well, and it's very well done. It just sucks that, you know, the accessories portion. It's really the SS Deadly Bomber. The DLC face is like, it's only offensive because the obvious choice for a face that they could have made or used is not included in here. Matter of fact, they could have just not included this at all, to be honest. Because it's not like even the faces that he's included with is like some super iconic face, and we got to get this face. We got to buy this whole figure if we want to get that face, which, you know, it's not even that kind of release. Super Android 13 can sell on his own. But, yeah, I got a lot to say. I could see I had a lot to say. In terms of I'll use this as a jumping off point, the next movie release. I would not be surprised if the next movie release is Broly. Specifically, Suppressed Super Saiyan Broly from the Z movies. That's also another figure that's getting long overdue. We'll see if that is the next movie figure. They could throw us a curveball and be like, hey, base form cooler. You know? And that would be right up my good man Cyrus's alley. That would be like a grail for him. But they could throw us a curveball and do something like that. Now we're going to use this as a springboard for what is the next potential premium Bandai release. And here we go. Okay, this brings us to the last portion of this video, which this video is actually ending up being a lot longer than I thought it'd be, because I had a little bit more thoughts than I thought I'd have. But this is the last teaser right here. Clearly, this is Frieza, but also seems to be pointing towards a brand new Frieza, which is great because that opens the door for a lot of other Frieza, well, really two other Frieza related things, which would be like a golden Frieza and then at some point a black Frieza. With this particular release, I assume, because with the shipping date, right? I just talked about the shipping date with Android 13. Originally, I thought the shipping date said November. I swear it said November somewhere. Maybe it was in the Instagram post. Maybe I'll check that out very briefly. But it said the shipping was November, so I was like, okay, Super 13 for a November release and then end the year off with a brand new Frieza. And I don't know. Maybe that's the case. I think Frieza is definitely going to have a shipment date for either January or December, just off of how much they're building it up. I'm thinking more likely December, because then it'll be just in time for the holidays. It'll drop just in time. You know, you have your holiday toy photography or what have you. Perfect time. It's cold in the winter. His name is Frieza. You know, I'm reaching now. But what is it that I wanted to say about this particular release? This release is going to be interesting because I want to see what this figure comes with. Of course, we understand that the mold is going to be new. That's why they got it silhouetted out, and that's why they're hyping it up. The craziest thing is that, as I briefly had a conversation with my good man Credentials, he was like, yo, it's crazy that Super Android 13 got teased, and it got teased and then also got revealed in the same week, within like the span of what, 2 days, 3 days, if that, something like that. And this was at the end of December. We're in February. That's just crazy. That's insane. It didn't feel like that long ago. It felt like maybe like a couple weeks ago, but we're in February and this was shown off or teased in December. Wow. But either way, what this Frieza could potentially come with, hopefully a death ball, like a full size death ball would be dope. But I'm not going to get my hopes up for that. It'll most likely come with something for this Goku figure. This first appearance Super Saiyan Goku figure, I could definitely see it coming with a face or something. What face in particular? I don't know. Or what head sculpt in particular? I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, he could come with a base hair for this particular body, where, you know, like when he was, that period in time before he turned Super Saiyan, but he was still struggling against Frieza. Basically when he was charging up the Spirit Bomb. Maybe he'll come with a base hair from those particular set of episodes. We'll see. Time will tell. Sorry if you heard my stomach rumble just now. I'm trying my best to remember. I wrote it down in my notes, but I didn't write anything about Frieza in my notes, but I'm trying to remember. Did I forget anything? Pricing. Well, we don't know any pricing for Frieza just now. The sculpt. I think I actually covered everything I wanted to cover for the most part in this video. Anything else I want to talk about is going to require its own video. But either way, this has been Bombastic Plastic. I'm expecting this Frieza to be dropped in December. We'll see. I could be wrong. Or maybe it'll be November and then something else drops in December. Who knows? Because I'm going off the shipping dates, of course, right? Shipping in October for Super 13. Shipping for this maybe in November, December. If it is November, then what's the December release gonna be? You know? Either way, like I said, this has been Bombastic Plastic. If you did enjoy this video, consider checking out my latest review. More reviews are coming. I know I always say that, but more reviews are coming. I want to get all these videos where it's just me talking to the screen out the way, and then I could get to the more, you know, videos that, you know, use more creative juices. Either way, peace.